Hello everybody, welcome back to the White One Auto channel. And what we have today here is a 2012 Ford F250, as well as the belt coming apart on this thing. One of the complaints we have is left rear turn signal is not working. So I was getting started on this thing and I thought it would just be a simple fix, but it's a little bit more involved, so I decided to make a video. We are already starting on the diagnosis though. So you can see we have our left front light is working, our left mirror light is working, but our left rear turn signal is not working. So when I first got started, the first thing I did was checked our bulbs, and they had bulbs like this installed. So I'm not super familiar with these, and I was not sure if these were possibly causing a problem or not. So I switched these bulbs out for a regular old 3157. So I know that we have a good foundation. And I changed them on the passenger side too, just so I can know that everything is the same. And because I'm not sure about the resistance of these or anything. I know they're LEDs, but when you're trying to diagnose something, I prefer to start the way the manufacturer designed it to work. So that's why we went here. So a couple quick things. I have a relay jumper in down there, because this type of Ford, it uses a relay for the rear turn signals. So that's what we have there. And if you can see down there, we got a lot of corrosion going on down there. So I'm not sure if that's the problem or what it is, but that doesn't look nice. So follow me along as we continue with our diagnosis. So let me go bring up a wiring diagram for you so you can see how this thing works. But hold on, before we do that, I'm going to show you a quick test. So this relay, this relay is hot all the time. So it should have power all the time. Let me go grab my test light. So this relay should have power all the time. Let's go in there and we'll see, do we have power? Well, first I gotta hook my test light up. So let's hook our test light up and see, do we have power? So we do have power. Now, so we have a power. This is our fuse down here that somebody before, I guess when they were changing bulbs and stuff, they popped a couple fuse caps off to try to determine what was wrong. And that is what is going on. So now we are going to check our ground and see what we have. I need to pull our wiring diagram up just so I can confirm our ground. So this is our wiring diagram. Let's go to our lighting. So now our left rear turn signal, let's go at the bottom. So this is our left rear turn signal. So you can see right there, it gets power in there on a gray and brown wire. That wire then gets power from the relay. Let me get that turn signal relay, that rear turn signal relay that I was showing everybody. So this is our relay right here. So our green and red wire right here is what is powered up from fuse 100. That fuse is good, so we have power there. But to activate this relay, we should be seeing a power signal coming in right here on our gray and brown wire. And that wire, if we scroll through our wiring diagram, it comes in You see, where is it at? I got. This is our BCM. This is for the right side, and for the left side right here, you can see. So stop, left rear turn. It gets a signal from our BCM. That's where that gets a signal from, on that Graham Brown wire. But before we go to there, because I really think that's the problem, unfortunately, I started recording. I mean, I started working on it, but before I started recording the video, so I'm kind of bringing you guys in afterward. And so our left return relay right here. So our green and red wire is good. It is getting us power from fuse 100. Now I want to check out everything else in here, because I see that when our turn signal is activated, we are not getting power from our gray and brown wire that comes from our BCM. But I want to check our ground while we are here checking things out. And you can see our ground comes out, I believe, on pin 2. We can follow that down. So it goes down to pin 2 and a left rear of the engine compartment. So we can check that ground, and we can also manually control this relay and see, do we get power out? So the way we would do that is we would apply a power to pin 1, and then our light should come on. And as well as, so that would check our ground, and that would also check pin 5 coming out. So we're gonna do that, and then we will go forward to looking at our BCM. We got a better setup so everyone can see the wiring diagram. So you can see that the power, our constant power coming in, should be at pin 3. And I also made some little dots on our relay. So you can see that side right there is pin 3. The other side is pin 1. Now on the back side, the one closest to the engine is pin 2, and the other one is pin 5. So we know, according to our wiring diagram, we should have constant power coming in on pin 3 from that 20 amp fuse. And we do if we check pin 3. So let's go check pin 3. And we got battery voltage there, 14.4. So we are good there. So now pin 2, excuse me, pin 1 should be our gray and brown wire that comes from our BCM, and that's what actually sends the signal to keep turning on and off the relay to where we get our turn signal. So we have our turn signal is on, so we know that the BCM is seeing that amp signal without using a scanner, because the left front one is coming on. So now that means that at pin 1 we should have power. So let's check pin 1, and we're on pin 1 and we do not have power. Now, one quick thing I wanted to show everyone is we can check the integrity of pin 1, all of that wiring going back to our bulb, simply by adding power there, and then our bulb should light up. So we'll go back and look at the truck here. We can see that our bulb is not lit. The bulb is not lit, and I want to check the integrity of all of that wiring through this whole truck without having to go back there. So simply, the way I would do that, and you want to use a fuse jumper wire to do this. You do not just want to give it straight power. What I'm going to do is I will put my jumper on here and go to pin 1. Hold on one second. Apologize for that. We got interrupted. So we're on pin 1 there. We have our jumper wire. And this switch right here, well, when we close it, it should send power to that terminal. and then our light bulb will light up if everything is okay. So let's close our switch. Let's see, are we getting power at pin 1? So it is lit up there. We are seeing power there. We're not on pin 3 because this is 3. So we're just on 1 and we have power there. So now, if all of our wiring is good, this bulb should be lit up. And it is. So you see our bulb is lit up, but the bulb isn't flashing because for whatever reason, we are not seeing that signal from the BCM. So it could be a few things. It could be the wire's broken in here in the fuse box. It could be the BCM's just not sending the left rear turn one. The wire could be broken between the BCM and the fuse box. So according to this, it says that signal comes from our BCM. Signal comes from our BCM, the left rear, that gray and brown wire. It comes from there at the body control module and the right rear kick panel. Now you can see there is a fuse in there as well, a 15 amp fuse, but that 15 amp fuse also supplies power to the left front lamp, the left front turn, and that is working. So I doubt if that fuse is bad, we probably have a wiring issue. And this is what really made me start recording, because I was going over here to take a look at the BCM over here, and I pulled this, like, so this kick panel was right here, and this is what you see. So it's down up in here. So what we got to do is remove this stuff here, and just due to the amount of dirt and debris here, I think we will probably find a broken wire. So what I'm gonna do is start pulling this out and I guess do something, vacuum up some of this, see if we can find our broken wire. Or see first to check to see, are we getting that signal for the left rear turn from the BCM? And then if we're getting that signal, we know that that signal is not getting to our fuse box. So then we need to figure out where it's bad. Is it bad at the wire? Is it bad internally at the fuse box? What is going on? So this whole component here with the fuses and everything in it, this is what Ford calls their BCM. So this is their BCM. So let's figure out which connector that gray and brown wire, I believe, is in for the BCM. So it's this connector right here. It looks like this, and the gray and brown wire for left rear turn. Let me see, I saw it earlier. Stop, turn right, stop, turn left right here. Circuit number 12 is stop, turn left, the gray and the brown wire. So we should be getting a signal out of there as long as fuse 15 is good, which I'm sure fuse 15 is good, because we have a front turn signal, and fuse 15 supplies power to the front and the rear. So we got to find circuit CLS 18, the gray with the brown, and that is the stop left turn, and it is in pin 18, I do believe here. No, excuse me, it's gauge 18 and it's in pin 12. So you can see where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 12 is right there. So 12 is right there. So let's find that and see, are we getting a signal out of that? Okay, everyone, so I pulled our connector off because I was pretty sure the wire ran here, and it does. So it runs here, and then you can see it's buried in all of this dirt and debris here. So just common sense tells me that this probably has something to do with it. So I'm not gonna go through the trouble of taking this cover off and back probing this while it's still plugged into the fuse box. I'm gonna use some common sense and start looking right here and see what is wrong, and make sure nothing's pierced any wiring here. So I'm gonna key off our truck and start checking there. Man, this stuff is literally just buried in dirt. Like, this is our harness here. This is just the amount of dirt that is in here. You see this wiring right here. So we're gonna clean up all of this. We aren't gonna just, because we're gonna use some good common sense here. And this is really bad. Like, even as I'm moving this thing, you hear something clicking. So let's get this cleaned up. So we cleaned all this up. I didn't see anything obvious. So we're gonna have to go ahead and back probe that gray with the brown wire and stick it back on our BCM and see, do we get a signal from there? So let's do that. So we'll stick our, hold on, I'm gonna have to pause you guys. So we're back probing that terminal. We got a T-pin in there, and we're coming down here to our test light, and we have nothing. So that means that our BCM is not sending a signal out. But another thing I want to do is check the integrity of the wiring from here all the way back to our fuse box. And the way we can do that is, let's key off the vehicle. We'll pull our harness out. We're on a T-pin there. So we will go out to the fuse box side, and we'll keep our T-pin hooked up and see how much resistance we have on ohms. So what we're gonna do now is check resistance. So we are on terminal 1 right here, and terminal 1 should be directly led back. Make sure we didn't disconnect terminal 1. We didn't. So terminal 1 should be going directly back to our connector at our fuse box. So we're back probed at our fuse box. So if everything is good here, we should hear an audible beep when we plug in our our wiring is good there. You can see. So we've got 0.6 there, 0.5. And remember, we are going through a lot. So we're going through a jumper harness up there and through the relay connector. So now on the opposite side of this, if we give power here, that should make our light come on. So let us try that. So I'm gonna remove that wire. So I'm gonna remove our positive wire from terminal number 1. You can see right now our light is not on. So let's remove that from terminal 1. Then come back out here and come to the positive side of our battery. And then now we will hook our red lead up from our meter, but to our jumper that is going into, hold on, let me pause you. So we got our red lead, which is coming from our battery, back probing it through our gray with brown wire, and let's see if our light is on now. And our light is on. So both of our filaments are lit up there. So we know all of our wiring is good. I really thought that we had a wiring problem, but it seems like that we have a BCM issue. So our BCM is the problem here. Our BCM is not giving us a signal back to our terminal 1 on our fuse block. And I'm quite surprised by that. I really thought we had a wiring issue, the shape that this truck was in. So that's what it is. So we will let them know and let them know that we need a BCM, and hopefully they'll put it in and we'll keep it moving. So I'm sure we need a BCM, but before I ever confirm a module, I just like to double check. And the way we're going to double check on here is we know our right rear turn signal works. So we're going to check the signal coming out for the right rear turn signal and make sure it just shows up the same as we have it activated. So let me find it for you. So right rear turn, it's a purple. Let me find it. Right rear turn. Right rear stop and turn. Right stop and turn. It says that it's a violet with orange. So that means that if we back probe there at that violet and orange wire with the turn signal on, we should see power and ground leaving and coming there. So let us turn our turn signal on. So you see we got our right turn signal. It is on. Let's come over here. Hope we can see in the light. We can see our light is flashing. So that's how it should look. So now if we go to our connector here, which I have back probed already, let me grab a light. So we got our test light hooked to a good ground there. That's the ground for this module. And then we are back probed here on the purple and violet. And you see how the turn signal, how we are switching off and on, off and on, off and on. That's because we are getting a good signal out for our right rear. Now let us go to our left rear. I'll just reconfirm with you again so we can see it in real time. Please remember, this is the signal coming out of the BCM. So it has nothing to do with our fuse box here. All it simply has to do with us doing an input from our switch, which we know our switch is good because we have our front ones coming on. So our output coming out of the BCM for our stop and turn for our left rear. Let me find it again. I think it's like pin 12. So right, a gray with brown. Let me focus. Control, stop. You see right there where it says gray with brown. You bring it right there, gray with brown. Control, stop, left rear. Left, so that's the rear. So it's a gray with brown and pin 12. So now you just saw what the right rear looks like that is functioning correctly. Now let me pause so I can switch the back probe. So we still have our ground. We have the terminal back probe there. So I hope our back probe is showing up. It will show our test light. So let's touch it. And we are getting nothing out of there. So that lets us know this BCM is bad. So we got a bad BCM. I just wanted to confirm it. I got a little bit busy earlier because we had some other things to check. But I'm not one to always just condemn a module, say, hey, it's a bad PCM, a bad BCM, a bad this, a bad that. I don't like doing that because a lot of times that is wrong. You want to double and triple check, and that's what we've done. So let the customer know and let them decide if they want to put a BCM in it or not. So our new BCM finally came in, and although it does have to be programmed, I think we should be able to plug it in and the turn signals work. So what we're going to do is pull the old one out and then plug this one in, and see if they work, and then we'll program it. Well, we're certain that this fixes it, so we'll be okay either way. So we have everything plugged in. That's our new one. This is our old one. So let's go over here and see if our turn signals work. I think the turn signals should work without the BCM being programmed. I really believe so, but we will find out right now. So we're gonna stick the key in. Everything works crazy. And we have a rear turn signal. So this is what we didn't have before. So now what we need to do is go ahead and program our BCM. So I'll program that and bring you guys back in after that's done. Yeah, so right now we are programming our BCM. We're using FJDS. We also had to get a second key made. So we got this done at the dealer when we purchased the BCM, because when you go back to program the keys after this BCM relearn, you are gonna need two keys. So the goal here was to fix our left rear turn signal that was not working, and we also didn't have a left rear brake light. So we will let this run through, and then earlier everyone should have seen that the left rear turn signal is working, and I'll show that the brake is working once we put our brake depressor on after we're done programming. So right now we're going ahead and we're programming our keys. We have to do both of the new keys. So we'll go through that and then continue. Okay, so we're done with all our programming. We have two working keys, so we'll take our new key. You can see this one is old. And this is our new key, so we'll take it, start this thing up. So starting up, let's use our turn signal. And we do have a turn signal now. So we have turn signals. And let's turn our turn signal off. Put our brake depressor on. And we do have brake lights. So this thing is fixed. So I just want to go over a couple things right quick before we wrap it up. I still got to clean up those wires in the passenger side where our new fuse box is. But remember to always diagnose your concern, because I had a real good feeling that there was a wiring issue, seeing how this looked over here, then the corrosion of the fuse box. I was really thinking that maybe we had a wire broke from here, from the BCM going to our fuse box, or just our fuse box was corroded, but none of that was the case. We were not getting a signal out from our old fuse box. So that is the issue. So we will get this all cleaned up. That's why it is very imperative to never assume, but properly diagnose. So thank you everybody for joining us today. This is White One Auto checking out. Thanks.